West Tigers fans, we've all had a week off. Some of us have put the feet up. Some of us have gone to Fiji, had a bit of a rest, had a rethink, and the West Tigers are back as they take on the St. George Illawarra Dargons this Friday. Let's preview the match on another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast, our first episode in almost a week. If you haven't already, please give us a follow at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and you can check out the link in those profiles or westtigers.com.au. That will lead you to everything we do, including our YouTube channel. We're well over 1,000 subscribers, and I can see plenty of our regulars rolling in for another live show. Our next live show we'll probably do Tuesday night again next week. It's a public holiday Monday next week. So, we'll go back on next Tuesday. But as for this Tuesday, thank you for everyone joining in on a non-regular night. And speaking of regulars, the stats man, my co-host, Mr. Thompson, how are you this evening?
Yeah, g'day, Josh. G'day, everyone watching and listening. I'm good, thanks, mate. It's been nice to have a bit of a week off to refresh. I got to spend last night at the Matildas friendly, my first attendance of those girls playing, and how good they are to watch. And yeah, ready to get back into the Tigers playing this week, although it has been nice to have a bit of a week off.
Seeing all the regulars roll in. So Shane, Emmanuel, Brandon, all Riff coming in, our co-host coming in from Florida again. What is it, a Tuesday morning for Riff in Florida as well. He joined us last week for our show. And Joshy McRapbag, one of the great Facebook names as well. Thanks for joining us, fellas. No, the ladies yet. Hopefully some of the ladies will show up soon. A bit of a sausage fest in the comments at the moment. Hopefully some of our classy ladies will come in and fix that soon enough. Tonight, a bit of news for West Tigers. Actually, we'll get into our sponsors first. Let's not forget our sponsors. Firstly, Mobile Corp. So Mobile Corp support local businesses by managing their IT, their networks, and their mobile devices. If you're a local business owner looking for a partner who will take away the hassle of dealing with IT issues, make sure you have cybersecurity in place, handle all your mobile device needs. Mobile Corp can help. They're a family-run business, a long-time supporter of the West Tigers and the WestsLife podcast as well. Stephen is a good mate of ours, and reach out to him and his team at Mobile Corp, mobilecorp.com.au and mobilecorp.com.au. And of course, our betting sponsor, Chase Bet. If you go to westtigers.com.au, there's a big purple button. If you click that, sign up if you haven't already, and then send them a little DM, say that we sent you. And the guys, they're a great little team there at Chase Bet, and they can help you out. If you need help with gambling, 1-800-848-848 or gamblinghelponline.newsouthwales.gov.au. Right on to some West Tigers news. Hey, there we go. One of our ladies has dropped in the comments. Good on you. Ashton's. That's who are you again, Ashton? I think it's Kate. Is it Kate? Ashton? I always forget who Ashton is. But anyway, West Tigers news. Jakey Simpkin is no longer a West Tiger. He is a Sea Eagle. Straight away as gone. He's no longer a Tiger. Kathy, says your comment. Apologies, Kathy. Long loyal listener, Kathy. She confused me with her different using the husband's account there. Jakey Simpkin as a good servant for our club as a backup. He's been a backup, and then pre-Appy got a few starts in and out of the Channel 9, the 9 jersey. What are your thoughts on Jakey going to the Manly Seagulls, as he probably wouldn't have been here next year anyway?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he was off contract at the end of this year. A little disappointed to see him go. Like you said, he's been a bit of a servant for the club. He's been here in some pretty turbulent times. He's had a lot of other players to play alongside. Probably hasn't gotten the consistent sort of game time that he probably deserves. But in saying that, he's also filled other roles at times. He's stepped in into the number 7, obviously into the 9, obviously playing a lot off the bench as well for whoever we've had at hooker at the time. But yeah, I'm sure in a different system he might succeed a little bit more. We might as well start calling them the Sea Tigers now. They've got so many of our ex-players down there, don't they?
Between them, when they play the Dragons, it's going to be a West Tigers reunion. When do they play the Dragons?
I don't know. I'll look that up and get back to you.
Yeah, because that'll be literally, there might be 9 ex-Tigers in that game, possibly more, depending on ins and outs.
They've already played this year. I don't know if they play a second time.
Because I do remember thinking there's a lot of ex-Tigers in this game.
I do
already.
remember that when we went, like, even when we did a brief little preview of that game, I do remember there being a whole lot of ex-Tigers there.
Yeah, but yeah, good kid, Jakey Simpkin. Sad to
literally
see him go,
next week. Eagles, Dragons next week. Yep.
There you go. Where's that at? Brookie? They've already played Brookie, haven't they?
It's a Brookie. Okay. Their first one was at Win.
Brooksvale Oval, righto. Plenty of hugs from former teammates there. Good one for you here, so I'll let you take it away. But the NRLW, they have our NRLW side as they head into this season. I believe they started pre-season training last week. I think I saw on the socials. So NRLW season not far away, and we got a couple of signings as.
Yeah, so pre-season for the girls actually started yesterday. So they're literally just getting back into it. We've signed 2 new players. I read this article a little bit earlier today. Both Queenslanders, Cheyenne McGlone. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that one. And Tara Rienke. I can't remember which one is which off the top of my head from reading. I'm just trying to see if I can pull up the article now, but I'm not having much luck finding it on the website. I feel like it. Hang on. There's an NRLW section that might be in there specifically.
Being a Queensland, I think it's Cheyenne, and Tara. If they're Queenslanders, I believe that's the Queensland pronunciation of those names.
Accent and all, eh?
Won't be the last to get Queenslanders tonight either, being Origin week.
Yeah, Origin Eve.
Origin Eve. Go the Blues. Any Queenslanders in the house? I know our man Shane Coet. I saw him before in the comments. He's a Queenslander somehow, a Magpie and a Queenslander. I don't know how, Shane. But anyway, anything to add?
Sorry, I'm just pulling up the article. So I'm just pulling the article up now to give a little bit more info on the 2 girls. Okay. So Tara is a 24-year-old middle forward who made her NRLW debut with Canberra last year. Has played some footy in some of those other smaller, like sort of off-season Queensland competitions. And McGlone is a 29-year-old centre who's also pretty new to the game. She came from playing OzTag, and she's already a mother of 2. So looking forward to having a little bit more, I guess, age around the girls, because obviously we do have a fairly young squad still, young and inexperienced. Obviously, we handed a lot of debuts last year. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the NRLW season kicking off in 6-7 weeks' time, and hopefully some more good memories watching our girls play.
For sure, yeah, can't wait. Manuel brought up a good point. Noddy, the coach of or Brett Camorley, for those who don't know who Noddy is, coach of the NRLW side, he extended for 2 more years, as?
Yes, correct. I wasn't actually aware that he only was signed for 1 year as the NRLW head coach, but excellent to see he's gotten re-signed. He handed, obviously, a lot of girls their debuts last year. It really looked like vibes around the club and around that entire squad were really, really high. Even at members events and other things, Noddy was there and really good with the fans and the players and getting everyone involved with everything. And it's really good to see the camaraderie he built up amongst that squad and how the girls got together in what was honestly a really turbulent debut season. We copped a lot of injuries, had a lot to do, but yeah, Noddy was, I think, the glue that held it all together. I think he can definitely take this team onto bigger and better things.
Yeah, he's a great guy to have at the club. Love Noddy. Speaking of coaches, Benji, look, this friggin' Fiji, look, it was one, he's come out and defended it, and now Appy's come out and defended. For those who lived under a rock, Benji had a break in Fiji for a few days while all the players had a mandatory break over the bye round. He decided to have a few days and refresh and recharge in Fiji, and literally one journo, have a guess who, if you don't know who it is, have a guess. It's the one constant old has been that keeps he obviously has it in for the Tigers. Can't stand everything he writes, take a grain of salt. I don't know how he has a job. The News Limited a golden handshake for him must cost him millions because he just keeps hanging around. I don't know how. But bagging up Benji,
the one who was most disappointed to lose his grappa lunches.
Yeah, mates with our former leaders as well. That's a good point as well. So plenty of extra salt from Buzz Rothfield this year, rubbing into Benj. And he's entitled to a few days off, recharge, and get back into it. I think I did see some West Tigers. I think for the most part, West Tigers fans were okay with this. Obviously frustrating the season that we've had, but there's literally nothing Benji could have done in Sydney with all the players off. Like, what's he going to do? Study more tape? Like, go away, sometimes recharging and getting away and then coming back fresh is like in any aspect of life is something that definitely can help. Like, he's to get a bit less stress, a clear mind, come back into the season. Like, he's got a young roster. He's learning on the fly. Hey, Benji, he's doing all right. It's doing all right. It's too early in his tenure to start pulling out the knives. I've seen a couple little knives coming out towards Benji from West Tigers fans, but come on, back our king.
Yeah, I think the thing that gets overlooked the most is the mental health of the players and the staff and how important that all is. Benji's obviously a father of a young family too. He's got 2 kids, both under 5. And I think there needs to be a lot of consideration for that as well. And like you said, there were probably I think the main gripe that Buzz had with the whole situation was the fact that he and Shane, Richo, mental blank there, are the 2 most senior people around the club, and they were both overseas at the same time. And yes, while I get that can be of concern, if like a player needs to reach out for any reason whatsoever, I'm sure they had put some other staff member on the task of manning the phones and making sure that all the players were okay, checking in on them if need be. Like, there's got to be all those other sorts of considerations made, and I'm sure they were. It's just, like you said, it's just Buzz being Buzz and just trying to drag a story up out of thin air. And even still, some of the players were around the place. Like, obviously, Appy was on the Thursday night footy coverage last week, I believe, on the panel pregame and chatting to the team at Fox. And I think everything there was all fine and dandy. And yeah, it's just sometimes you need a little bit of a break, and why not?
Just saw a comment from John here. He says Bennett did the same as Benji. For those who don't remember, when Bennett was at the Newcastle Knights, Nathan Tinkler, who was then owner of the Knights, he had a private jet at Newcastle Airport where Bennett would jet back to Brisbane for family, literally in between games. So it's everyone's saying, "Oh, the best coaches in the league wouldn't do it." You're wrong. Get over it. I just remembered tonight. We're broadcasting on our Twitter/X account, so there are plenty of people watching there at the moment. I can't actually see or bring up your comments. So if you want to head over to our YouTube channel, if you're on X at the moment, go to WestsLife Pod on YouTube, and that way I can see any comments, be them good or bad. I won't bring up the bad ones usually, but head over to YouTube. Look, if you're a troll, head over to the YouTube. Help our algorithm. Do it. I dare you.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, WestsLife Pod on YouTube. So head on over, leave old mate, what's his name? Elon Musk's X, and come over to the YouTube and join in on the fun as well. Righto. Of course, Stefano Utoikamanu, he was offered apparently $4 million for a 5-year extension. A lot of West Tigers fans, I think I've seen mixed reactions to this. As I think so, obviously, you do quick maths, it's $800K per year. A lot of people are saying Steph hasn't earned that yet. In my mind, the cap is going to go up by the time that deal's over, the cap will go up. 800K won't be that big a dent. On the cap, he's going to be 25 next year. So he'll be 25, 6, 7, 8, 9, literally the prime of his career. And a lot of people bagging out saying he goes missing in games and that sort of thing. I don't know, as call me biased, but I think 800K, sign him on the dotted line now. I think this is a fine contract. Would he be offered that at another club? Maybe not, but we do kind of still have to dangle a bit of money to tempt him not to go ring chasing elsewhere. But I'd be very, very happy if Steph signed this contract.
Oh yeah, so would I. Absolutely. I think he's probably worth maybe around the 700 to 750, which is probably what you're going to get from, or probably what he would get from other clubs. Like you said, we do have to still dangle a little bit of extra money in front of him to try and tempt him into staying. But in saying that, he has an opportunity to play potentially alongside Jerome Luai and some of those other signings we've made. And the team is absolutely heading in the right direction. And I believe even more so if Stefano does stay. It does seem a little bit nerve-wracking for us at the moment that it does seem to appear more likely that he is going to leave. And I would be extremely disappointed if he does, because like I've said about Blore, like I've said about a few others, they're the sort of players that you really want to be able to keep at the club, nurture throughout their main years, their prime years playing footy, and really like build the club around that core group.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it is a tough one because you can't really begrudge someone who's played in a team, gone back-to-back spoons, and maybe another one as well to go to a team that because losing sucks. Let's admit it. We know that losing sucks. I'm sure as a player it sucks as well, especially when your career is only so long. But surely there's the other side of the coin too, like you said, as with players incoming to be there in the bad days and then be there and turn it around. Surely that is also tempting as well. We've got Luai coming to River, as you said, next year. Surely there's something in Steph. He's like, this is the club that gave me the start, and if I can be there when it turns around, as opposed to leaving and then seeing it turns around without him there. I don't know. It's different. These players obviously have much less emotional attachment to the club and the team, and we don't know what goes on in Concord and what he's thinking or that sort of thing. But I hope he does get it done.
We
and
all
sign
remember
it.
that interview earlier this year, I think it was, where he said he wants to repay the club for giving him his major opportunity, because he played, I think, maybe 3 or 4 games at Parramatta before coming here. And one of those, his debut, he played, I think, the last 20 seconds. He made one run, and it was the final run of the game for Parramatta up at Newcastle. And that was it for his debut game. He spent the entire rest of the game on the bench. And then he comes here, and he's almost a walk-in starter at the time. A little bit of development, and he became a starter. And even this weekend, he's starting. So he's definitely one of those players that we've been able to rely on. We've been able to depend on him to do his job. And he does a really good job of it. His form has dipped off a little bit lately, which is a bit of a shame. But there's still obviously a lot of time to turn it around. There's a lot of season left. We've still got 13 more games to play. And like I said before, if he does stay and think about who he's going to be able to play alongside next year, the only way for the club really is up. We've been at the bottom for 2 years now, and we're second from the bottom right now. And if we are able to turn this around, maybe not this year, but in the years moving forward, think of it from our point of view as fans. We've gone through all these years of crap and of mediocrity and of just garbage after garbage after garbage, but things slowly started to change off field this year, and things are changing on field as well. And that's going to get there's going to be even more improvements next year. So for us as fans, these crap days have been crap, but those days where we get to celebrate our premierships and all of our finals appearances and whatever else have you, and other Origin reps and other international reps, those days are going to be a lot sweeter when they come.
And for those who think that 800k is too much, where are we going to get a better front row for whatever your opinion and where you rank him amongst front rowers in the NRL? Where are we going to get a better front rower? And a lot of people are saying, well, sign Fanu or Pole. Sign both. There's no reason why we can't have both. Like, sign them
no
up.
Los Dos.
Porque no los dos. Yeah, just we could have them both. Why can't we have two good front rowers in our stocks, and then a couple of bench ones coming behind them? And where are we going to get a better one? Like, it's 800k. It's not your money. I don't understand. People go, "Oh, it's too much money." Like, it's not coming out of your pocket. It's the club paying for it. It's the 800k is going into his bank account from the club, not us. Like, it's not our money.
You said, the salary cap at the moment is increasing as well.
Yeah,
the RLPA fought very hard last year.
Yeah.
To get cap improvements and increases, and they've succeeded. So the cap is improving.
Yeah. No, it's it'd be good for both parties. Bring it on. What do we got next? We have a couple. So Richo, as you mentioned, is in England at the moment. He's on a shopping spree or selling spree, I guess. He's trying to get rid of apparently Bud Sullivan and Brent Naden's contracts, and apparently a club in the UK is interested in Bud Sullivan. I believe the two Hull clubs, either one is interested in Bud and Bateman, possibly. What do you reckon, Az?
Interesting. I didn't actually catch this. This is the first time hearing about this one. I wouldn't be surprised if we do offload Bud. I don't know why he was signed on as much as he was and for as long as he was. That one seemed a bit strange, and he obviously hasn't really lived up to the hype so far this year. We'd probably expect, with Caesar coming back next week, that he might swap with Bud, and Bud may not play any more footy, depending on if Caesar can be a good boy on the field. But he's obviously got one last chance this week to change that perception and maybe give Benji a little bit more food for thought when it comes to team selections for next week. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we do lose him. It would probably be good to lose him. 500k, I think, is what we're paying him for 4 years, and I don't think he's worth that much. I think maybe, but the problem with that is halves generally command a bit more money, so you're going to have to fork out a little bit more for them. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes elsewhere. If he goes overseas, I probably wouldn't complain too much, because it means we wouldn't have to deal with playing against him and him having an absolute blinder against us, as tends to happen. But I would be disappointed to lose Bateman, because Bateman's contract is a bit larger and a bit longer. That would be a much bigger cap hit as well. And I think he's still a really solid player. He hasn't stood out drastically, as probably would be expected, considering the money that he's on, but I think he's still doing a job. Obviously, he's injured right now, so he's not going to be able to play for a while, but he's one of those older, more experienced heads that, even though he's as pale as anything, still leads the team around and still does a good job. Like, he's been vice captain this year, I'm pretty sure.
Phil Rogers, our guy in the UK, said Hull is after Sullivan, Hull KR Naden. Just saw Emmanuel said the thing about no leaks policy earlier in the year. Look, that Richo said I would say it's not coming from our end. It's coming from player managers. The whole Steph thing, I can only assume it's his management coming out saying, well, here's our price tag, send us your offers. So I don't know. What can you do? Like we can plug our holes, but you're never going to stop the managers.
The journos are vultures too. They'll swoop on
Yeah.
absolutely anything they
But
can get
yeah,
their
like
grubs.
they're doing their job. Apart from Buzz Rothfield, he's doing a shit job. But they look, as a former journalist myself, they're doing what their job entails. So, right, let's get into the preview for 6 not 6 p.m. 8 p.m. Friday night. As run us through the West Tigers team list.
All right, so we've got a few changes. Dream Buller is still at fullback. Alex Lobb comes onto the wing along with Solomon Aliamalo. Charlie Staines moves into the centres along with the returning Justin Olam. Lockie Galvin and Jaden Sullivan are in the halves. Stefano Utoikamanu is in the front row along with Alex Twal. Api Coruscant is at hooker with Samuela Fainu, Alex Seyfarth in the second row, and Justin Matamua at lock. Brent Naden comes back on the bench along with Fanua Bole, Sione Fainu, and debutant Ruben Porter. Talon De Silva is our 18th man. The reserves are Solomona Fa'atape, Kit Lauli'i, Asu Kepaoa, and Jordan Miller.
Charlie Staines in the centres as very interesting. Has he played? I should look this up. Has he played in the centres for us previously?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think he might have.
I'll look that up. What are your thoughts on that? Anyway,
yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Obviously, was expecting Olam to come back, but I thought maybe Josh Folletti would stay in the centres. I'm a little bit disappointed to see him gone. Maybe he's copped a bit of an injury at training potentially because he's not even in the reserves, and I haven't caught a New South Wales Cup team list yet, and so I don't know if he's on that. Yeah, Charlie. I think the main issue with Charlie is his defense, but in saying that, he's actually had quite a few difficult defensive assignments on the wing so far this year. I remember he marked up against Sevo on Easter Monday, and a couple of weeks after that, I'm pretty sure he had to mark up against, it might have been Ravalawa when we played the Dragons the first time at Campbelltown. He did quite well. Obviously, the centres is a bit of a different proposition to on the wing, so it's going to be a lot harder for him. But I do think he's capable. I do think he can do the job. But yeah, I am a little bit disappointed to see Josh Folletti not there.
So I looked it up. Apparently, he hasn't played centre since his debut for the Panthers. That's literally the only time he's ever played centre. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Yeah, against Big Sevo, you don't get much bigger than Sevo. He's got to go up against Sawley. Look, I think he's actually better than people think. I don't think he's a turnstile so much. I think he actually does all right on defense somewhat. So we'll see how he goes. Having Lob City, the big winger outside him, makes more sense. So nice big wingers, and Solomon Ale Malo is also shouts to MBWT on Twitter. He put out today that it's actually the tallest. He reckons it's the tallest combo, the wing combo we've ever had. I don't know how he confirmed that, but apparently as big twin towers for us on the wings.
Took out the ruler and the tape measure. It's really good as well to see Alex Lobb get a actual game this week, and the club is probably going to put a little bit of emphasis on it and celebrate it, because obviously he debuted almost accidentally up in far North Queensland. So it's good to see him get an actual game. I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes. I think, though, there might be a few defensive issues down that side, so I'm very concerned that the Dragons are going to send a lot of traffic at the two of them, because even though they are quite tall, they may not be the best defensive duo, and I think that's probably what the major concern is there. Happy for them to prove me wrong. Would absolutely love for the two guys to prove me wrong, and I think they are more than capable of doing so. But in saying that, we're going to have a lot of catching ability over that side too. So if they do send up high bombs near the try line, I think those two are going to be more than capable of diffusing them.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to have. Hopefully, they kick to them too on attack. I want to see a try every time a kick goes up. This team.
Do you remember the try Alex Lobb scored for us in that trial against the Warriors? literally just had to jump over the
Yeah,
guys he was about to tackle, got away from them, and I think maybe he offloaded the ball to someone else. I can't remember.
yeah. I
Because it
think
was a
he
while ago.
assisted. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he
I remember.
assisted, but he
Yeah,
took quite a good catch overhead.
it was very because he's AFL background. I think. No, I think I'm getting my wires crossed there. But he's a big boy, so keen to see more Lob City. In the forward pack, Twally getting the start at front row as with Steph, and coming off the bench, Pole and Sione Fainu in the front row rotations. Look, a few people saying Pole. I saw someone mention today Pole should start. I think the combo of having Twal and Steph together and then Pole, I think you're better off splitting Pole and Steph, not playing both your guns at the same time, and then have a weaker, for respects to the other guys, weaker two in the middle of the game. I don't know. I prefer one gun, one defensive stalwart like Twally. What do you reckon, Az?
Well, yeah. Well, firstly, I wouldn't say weaker, especially in regards to Twal. He's probably a much better defensive player. While he may not offer as much in attack, he's extremely strong defensively. So that's something that's always going to be good to have on the field whenever he's there. But in regards to the whole should Stefano and Fanua play at the same time, I would tend to agree with you in the fact that it's probably better to have two players of how they go about their game on at different times. So you've always, hopefully, ideally, always got at least one of them on to do a job. And Sione, while being rather inexperienced, I think he's going to do enough of a job there anyway, whenever he comes on, probably to replace Twal.
Sorry, I'm just messaging in the chat on X because there's 140 people watching on X at the moment. Come join us on YouTube. Come join the conversation, to quote Garth Brooks there. Right, elsewhere in the forwards, Alex Seyfarth and Samuel Afenu. Samuel Afenu is having a gun season. He's fast becoming one of my favourites. So Matamua at lock has. Yeah, we've had a lot of combinations this year. What are your thoughts on this one?
I think this is the one we've all been waiting for. With Matamua at lock, I think he's the player that most of us want to see there. He got a little bit of a run there on in Townsville, but I think especially if he starts, I think it's going to be good to see him get his opportunity. Samuel Afenu and Alex Seyfarth. I know a lot of people don't think Seyfarth should be a starter. I think he has a better impact off the bench, but he's got an opportunity, and this is kind of the position we're in now. Give these players the opportunities, see what they do with them, see if they can step up to the plate. We're all obviously coming off a bye, so they've had a bit of time off. We haven't had any players selected for Origin, so the team should be fit and should be fresh, while the Dragons, on the other hand, have played the last few weeks and played only 6 days prior to this game in Penrith, so they're backing up after that, and they've had a few other sort of tough games in recent weeks as well.
Brent Naden off the bench, very, very odd one. I have no idea what to make of that. Is that going to be a bit of he's there for injury cover? Do you reckon he's going to get any minutes at all? Is Benji planning on playing him in the forwards? Maybe you're going to rebrand Naden? What's going on there?
Yeah, I'd say probably a little bit of injury cover, particularly for the backs. He obviously played a little bit in the halves in Cup this year. Maybe he could play hooker if needed, but I don't think we're going to see that because Appy obviously not being selected for Origin and having last week off should be pretty fresh, and probably should be able to handle the full 80 minutes this week, although we probably all agree that we still don't want to see that. We'd rather see Talon come from the reserves into the side and Naden out. But I don't know, maybe there's a fast one there that Benji might be planning to pull on the Dragons.
Maybe, yeah, like TDS is in the 18 jersey there. Does he flip them possibly? Because Appy,
possibly, yeah, that's what I'd be expecting.
Yeah, Appy playing 80 minutes. He's too damn old for that shit. Just give him 10 minutes either side at half time, have a breather, get talent in there. He's the future at 9, obviously, with Jakey gone now. I want to see Talon Silva get a bit of a first grade run again.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
we'll see if Benji pulls a Sheensy and does last minute changes. All right, waiting for our Dragons. Our Dargons representative isn't joining us yet. I did remind him before, and he said he'll be on. But Az, run us through the Dragons team nonetheless.
No worries. So, just a quick note about the Dragons because they've had 3 Origin representatives, they've been allowed to name an extra reserve. So, their team is unchanged from last week so far. So, they've got Tyrell Sloan at fullback with Sione Finau and Matthew Fine on the wings. Moses Sully and Max Fine are in the centres, with Max and Matthew on the same side of the field there. Kyle Flanagan and Jesse Marshke are in the halves. Francis Molo and Jack DeBellin are the front rowers, with Jacob Little at hooker. Luciano Leilua and Raymond Fatala Mariner are in the second row, with Tom Eisenhuth at lock. Their bench is Blake Laurie, Ben Murdoch-Masilla, Toby Couchman, and Ryan Couchman. Far Manu Brown is their 18th man. Their reserves are Michael Molo, Christian Tuipulotu, and their 3 Origin representatives, Ben Hunt, Jaden Sewer, and Zach Lomax.
Yeah, those 3, they're the big ones. I don't think I've ever seen before a team naming their Origin backer-uppers outside of the 17. Normally they just name them and then just pull them.
I've seen it a few times. I think I've seen it a
Okay.
few times. It's
Yeah.
the more unlikely way to go about things, but that's kind of what's making me a little bit more nervous that they may actually play.
Yeah, 48 hours is a tough one. They reckon 48 hours is the toughest backing up. They reckon night after.
Yeah, because that's sort of when
yeah.
your body starts to tense up, isn't it? After
Yeah,
like about 48 hours afterwards.
yeah, delayed onset muscle soreness to get a little bit technical, and any bumps and bruises and that sort of thing. Yeah, I hope, and I don't think that they'll back up being 48 hours. I think if this was a Saturday or a Sunday, they might have backed up, but I think it's just, I mean, it depends how long they play as well. I mean, Lomax, I think maybe Lomax being his work rate might be a little bit less. I don't know. We'll have to see during the
Ben
game.
Hunt is the one who's the most interesting one because obviously he's going to share hooking duties with Harry Grant. Hunt's been named to start in number 9, so maybe they do a switch there and he starts off the bench. I think if he starts off the bench, he's more likely to probably play on Friday because he won't be getting as much game time. But if he does end up starting for Queensland, I think we might be a little bit safer in that regard. So there are a lot of questions there.
Even backup hooker, like it's a lot of defense, a lot of work with the body. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But elsewhere, as in this Dargons team, Tyrell Sloan. I rate this Tyrell Sloan. I think have they re-signed him? I quite rate Sloan. I think he's a bit of an underrated talent. Anyone for you as on this side? Do you know much about Jesse? How do you pronounce it? Marshke?
Marshke. No, I don't know too much about him. I think the players I'm most worried about at the moment are their front rowers, Francis Molo and Jack DeBellin. DeBellin's been a workhorse. Normally he starts off the bench, but he's starting for them this week. Obviously, we know a lot about Luciano Leilua in the second row as well, and Raymond Fatala Mariner while he was at the Dogs last year, and they didn't perform all that well. He was one of their better players. Francis Molo as well, Tom Eisenhuth. There's a lot of good quality players in that front row there. I'm a little bit more unsure about the backs. Max and Matthew, haven't seen them play together too much. They did obviously team up last week against the Panthers when they managed to upset the Panthers. So it was a really good performance by this team, which is pretty much why they're unchanged and they didn't cop any injuries out of it. So good to see them all getting another go together for their sake. But there's a lot to be nervous about with this team, I think, that we're coming up against.
Simon and Brendan both saying on the YouTube comments that they're worried about our old friend Moses Sully. He's definitely
One of
after
our old friends. There's like 4 of them in the team.
Well, Sully was our big signing. I believe Pasco chose him over Tedesco or something back in the day, if I got my names right there. But yeah, obviously he got done for being too lazy at the Dogs and Manly. Was it both? Yeah, he was at Manly for a bit too,
Yeah, he was.
wasn't
So
he?
we sacked him after
Mm,
I think his second or third instance of not showing up to training.
mm,
There was a bit of a how you do about it on that Tales of Tiger Town series because that was
mm,
around the time. I think actually no, not Tales of Tiger Town. It was the one back in 2019 because that was a bit longer ago that they did a little bit
mm,
of a preseason one for that
mm,
one, and there was a lot of good stuff in that one, like the Sandhills. But
mm.
anyway, yeah, so he was late to training 2 or 3 times. We sacked him. He then went to the Bulldogs. They didn't take long before they sacked him. He then got signed by Blacktown Workers, so Manly's feeder club, and after putting in some good performances there, he was transferred over to Manly and put on a first grade contract and played there for a bit, saw out the rest of that season, I believe, and yeah, then eventually made his way to the Dragons. It seems like he's finally gotten his shit together.
Speaking of which, I'm looking at going to the Cook Islands. Moses Sully being a Cook Islands representative. If anyone's got some tips on travelling to the Cook Islands, let me know. The wife and I are looking at being our end of season trip at the end of the year. So any tips, Moses? If you're listening, give us a buzz, hook us up, tell us what best place to go in Rarotonga is. The 4-pack as they worry me a lot. Jack Bellon, obviously, look, off field discretions aside, he's a very good player on the field. You obviously mentioned, this the 4-pack. I saw Shane mention. Can he explain how he will win Friday night? Look, we need. It's going to be another one where we need the referee calls to go our way. We need the bunker to be kind. We need to hold the ball, not make dumb, stupid errors. Can we just put it together? I I stupidly have tipped us. We'll get to our tips eventually, but I don't know. They played well last week, the Dragons, but to take Ben Hunt, these guys didn't play either, did they? Those three, they were out for Origin.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. We're fresh off the bye, although as you reckon most teams lose off the bye. That's your theory?
No, not necessarily most teams lose. It just there has been a little bit of a trend so far this year where teams coming off the bye have started a bit slow. We definitely need to buck that trend. Because you'll remember we played the Panthers in Bathurst the week after their bye. They started off slow because we got out to a lead. And then a couple of weeks after that, we played the Bulldogs off of their bye, and we got out to a 14-0 lead before being run down in the second half. And there just does seem to be a little bit of a trend in teams starting slow after a bye. If we're going to be any chance of winning, we need to not start slow. We need to start quick. We need to score probably within the first 15, 20 minutes and keep them from scoring in that same amount of time. There's a lot of players in that team we're going to have to be very wary of, no less than another one of our old friends, Jacob Little, who tore us apart quite well when we played against them at Campbelltown about 6 or 7 weeks ago, however long it was. We also know about how dangerous Luciano Leilua can be. He came back from some indiscretions when he was at the Cowboys last year, like over the last year's off season, against us in that game at Leichhardt where we towed them up. But even in that game, he was still really strong for them, scored a try, made it look really easy as well. There's a lot of danger plays in their team. I still feel like Jesse Marshke is a little bit more of an unknown. Obviously, the team will have done some work on him. They'll know what to look out for. Kyle Flanagan is always dangerous. Yeah, they're a scary proposition at the moment, and they're putting a lot of naysayers this year who thought they'd be down near the wooden spoon like us, making them eat their words.
Definitely. Shouts to the people in the comments giving tips for the Cook Islands too. Shane, our guy, we'll chat on the Discord. Shane, another reason to join patreon.com/WestsLife and join us on the Discord. We'll a lot of chat about all sorts of things. I'll get some tips off you in the Discord. There, a lot of NBA talk, obviously NBA finals this week as well. Soccer, plenty of soccer. Obviously, the girls last night, so plenty going on. Speaking of plenty going on, our Dragons man coming in live from Dapto. Here he is. This is my second favorite JB in the world. J Benz, how are you this evening?
Good, mate. What's going on?
Not much, man. Just talking Tigers Dragons, as you and I have done for about a decade or so. But
decade and a half, I think, mate.
Yeah, we're getting on. We're getting on. But any thoughts on this game in particular? Coming, obviously, we're in pretty crap form. Your Dargons are doing pretty well this year, as just said, better than expected.
Yeah, better than expected. Got as many wins this year as we got, in the whole season last year. I just think there's just something always just missing. But, the boys played good last week. We're not, Penrith was a bit of a second string side, but so was the Dragons, to be honest. So that's what I kept firing back at everybody that was abusing me at the bolo when I was watching the game. But, I think it's interesting that the Dragons must be the first team ever to field two sets of identical twins. Like, this has to be a first, right?
Oh yeah, Max and Matthew, and what is with twins? You obviously had the Morris boys.
I didn't know they were twins. Oh, there you go. That's news to me.
Yeah, I'm sure Max and Matthew, they're twins. I know that Toby and Ryan are.
What a shame that BJ
Toby and Ryan in these pictures we can see here look a lot more like
Yeah, I should know that, but
twins than
anyway.
the do.
It's a shame you don't have BJ Leilua. You could have another set of brothers.
Even two sets of brothers. I don't know if I've another team that's done that for a while.
Get Matt Eisenhuth in there. Who else you got in there? Flanagan. He's obviously got his dad as a coach. I'm trying to see. Ben Hunt.
I think
his brother
that's
Mike.
It.
Yeah.
Nice one, Josh. I mean, there's also, you've got Michael Molo in the reserves with Francis Molo playing.
Yeah, that's true.
Are they related?
Yep. I don't know. I should know. I don't.
Being obviously a Wollongong local, and this game being in your neck of the woods, JB, any tips for Tigers fans heading down to watch this game? What are some of your local tips?
Yeah, don't be afraid to park like a little bit further away from the stadium if you have to, because on the way there, get there in a couple of hours early because you can go for dinner and stuff in the city. It's so close. Chico's is actually closed now, so don't rely on Chico's. It's Wollongong Chico's is right next to the stadium for all those years. He's now gone. It's defunct. Instead of selling chickens, they sold the property probably for $40 billion, and they don't need to cook chickens in Wollongong anymore. So
on the Central Coast, we had Chickadee chicken. I don't know if anyone up on the coast remembers Chickadee chicken's best chips and gravy. I still think about the chips and gravy and chicken salt at Chickadee chicken on the coast. I've never found chips and gravy better than Chickadee chicken. And obviously being a rev head like me, J-Ben's a random side note to that. Alan Grice's VK Commodore in 1980, it won Bathurst in 86, I think, had Chickadee chicken on it as well.
It did, the VK. I think it was 85, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, no, it's just mostly Elshana's in Sydney now.
We have one in Wollongong now too. What was your question again?
Just the Dragons, just anything about the Dragons. Wollongong, Dapto, come to Dapto Bowls.
Don't be afraid to sit. Yeah.
Have a roll.
Dapto or Figgy, where I play now, who knows,
Oh, you changed clubs?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I changed from Dapto to Victory now.
That's big news. That's like James Tedesco leaving the Tigers to go to the Roosters.
I wouldn't go. I don't think it'd be that crazy, mate. I just wanted a bit of a change. I grew up in Victory too, so it's kind of like It's nice to go there. Only a lot of people, but
And there's Chico's still there, isn't there?
Chico's is in Big Tree. That's right.
Okay. You got offered a few roast chickens to make the change, did you?
Yeah, and it's not bad after a few schooners after you lose a few, lose or win a game. I think,
Wollongong tips, yeah. Any?
Yeah, I mean, all the grandstands are actually Wynn's such a great place to watch footy. It's you get a really good view of the place from anywhere. I kind of like the northern stand, sit up there, pretty close to the front on the second, level, and
the only time I've been there, that's where I sat. And Benji, that was 2000. I was on my P plates. That's how long ago, because I drove all the way from the Central Coast on my Ps. 20. I can look that up. I think it was. I got my Ps in 2007. I think I remember Benji scoring a try that night. That's the only time I've been there, because literally the other times since we've known each other, I've never been able to get down for the games. And this weekend I'm away. It's been a long weekend. I'm away with family. It sucks, but it is the one time I do remember. It's I love that stadium as well.
Yeah, I am gonna hopefully go to the game on Friday. I haven't got my tickets yet, but I'm pretty keen to go. To be honest, I'll probably just go on the hill, but it will be freezing cold.
2008 it was round 22. 2008 we won 18-10. Benji Marshall 5 from 5 with the boot, scored a try. Bo Ryan the other try. And look at this team that you guys had that night. So Nightingale fullback, Gasnier and Cooper in the centres, Josh Morris on a wing. Halves was Soward and Hornby. Jared Safi, who ended up going to the Tigers or came from the Tigers. When did Safi go?
2009.
He came from the Tigers. Sorry, former Tiger. Jared Safi, Simon Wolford at hooker, Dan Hunt, Bo Scott. Who else you got? Luggy, Septu, Stuart Webb, Dean Young coming off the bench, Matt Pryor, Ricky Thorpe, Kirk Reynoldson. Good veteran who obviously played a lot for the Knights and the Storm.
09, right? 09.
As well. 08, this is.
08.
Yeah, and then for us, Shannon Gallant at fullback, Tuiaki, Burrine wings, Hallertau in the centres with Chrissy Lawrence. Robbie Farah played halfback this night. I forgot about that. Keithy Galloway, Bronson Harrison, front rows. Johnny Morris is obviously all of our assistant coaches played in this. Johnny Morris, Robbie Farah, Benji. Toddy Payton, obviously coach of the Cowboys now. Chris Hyington in the other back row. He's on the coaching staff as well. Liam Fulton at lock. Ben Teo, Corey Payne, the other Dane Laurie. Dane Laurie's uncle, I think. And Ryan O'Hara on the bench. There you go. Good. Remember driving home back to the Central Coast with my mate, who was a Dragons fan. It was a nice little drive back up the mountain, back through back to the sunny coast.
In a VP Commodore, wasn't it?
A VP Commodore, it was. I had the VP Commodore V6 with an exhaust kit on it. Yeah, it was mad, hectic.
What a Dragons team, that other team, far out.
Yeah, you guys had a great team for so long. And you won one.
05. I know that 05's like the glory year for West Tigers, but 05 was the year that the Dragons should have won it. Like the team was like, we had half like the Australian side. It was like a lot of those years there, 06, Anyway.
There was a post actually, I can't remember who on Instagram, but it was guess the New South Wales Blues side, and all they had was the team, the club that they played for in the positions on the field, and literally it was almost entirely Dragons and Roosters. Like it was crazy how many great Blues players you guys had. Look, you got 2010. You can't really complain that much. Plenty of teams don't win comps. Right, stats man, what do you got for us in this one?
Just before you move on, Josh, we did actually miss talking about our debutant.
Oh yeah, of course, Declan Casey.
No, not Declan Casey. Ruben Porter.
Not Declan. Ruben Porter. Sorry, wrong.
Wrong game.
Ruben Porter. Yeah, obviously 27 years old, making his debut. Big forward. I think I missed him before because I had like an icon something over his name. But yeah, Porter to make his debut. Can you say much about him? What would you like to say?
So I pulled up his player profile on the website. Obviously, he's listed as a Western Suburbs Magpies player. Like you said, he's 27. He's listed as a lock. So I think that means he's probably going to share the lock duties with Justin Matamua, which probably means we see a bit more of a front row role for Fanua Pole. He's played 83 games in New South Wales Cup, scored 14 tries. So he looks like he's a bit of a deft hand when it comes to scoring. He scored 2 tries in 9 games this year. See if he can contribute any of those. He's also got a 91.5% tackling efficiency, which, considering we've had a few defensive issues, particularly at the lock position so far this year, that could be really important if he's able to transfer those abilities to obviously the more speed and intensity that is an NRL game. So I think he's an interesting talent. Definitely one to keep an eye on, and I hope he has a really, really good game for us on Friday.
Yeah, good moment for him and his family as well. See how he goes coming off the bench. We've got that many players out at the moment. It's just disgusting. But John just said on Facebook he plays prop in Cup so.
He plays prop in Cup, does he? Okay.
Yeah. So he'll be in the front row rotation, I would say. Right, stats wise, what do you got for us, stats man?
So there aren't too many venues where the Tigers have better than a 50% win record in their history, but Wollongong, or Win Stadium as it's known currently, is one of them. We've played 7 games there in our history and we've won 4 of them. So we've got 4 wins and 3 losses there. Obviously, recently the Dragons have lifted a bit more at Wollongong. They've had a few performances there so far this year that were really, really good, including against the Sea Eagles when they played them already, and the Warriors, both of who they beat there as heavy underdogs. So they are a tough team to play there, but for some reason we seem to have the wood over them there, and I hope that continues.
Yeah, it was 4 out of the first 5. So he won there in 2000, I think you said. Yes, 15 to 9.
We've come off a couple of losses in a row at the moment, so hopefully we turn that around and keep that ledger above 50%.
Yeah, I think Biggest T shouts on his Instagram or something was talking about the 2000 game that we played there, that we won 15 to 9. Again, weirdly enough, as I bring up that, we only scored 1 try and 1 in that as well. Joel Kane kicked 3 goals and scored a try. He scored a field goal to Craig Field. There you go. Shouts to
Someone
Craig
asked
Field.
who the ref in the bunker is. Chris Butler's the referee, it seems here. Adam G, senior review official.
Yeah, Butler's all right. That's I don't know. As good as I have no beef with Butler. What about you guys?
No, I can't think of anything that he's done to hurt us, but there's always time.
At least it's not Casey in the bunker. Righto, Josh Shadamas time. Want to get out and have a bet with Chase Bet. My try scorer multi for this week. I've gone our incoming winger Taruva to get a try for the Penny Panthers. Xavier Coates, so the Melbourne Storm, as I bring up the draw, I reckon the Storm they're fresh off a bye. I think they're going to rack up a score. I can see Xavier Coates getting a double. And for the Tigers this week, I'm feeling Lockie Galvin getting a meat pie. So bit of inexperience in the halves possibly for the Dargons. So maybe, I don't know, feeling a Lockie Galvin try this week. Storm are playing the Knights. So they're at home Sunday Arvo. I reckon they'll rack up a few points there. So, and Penny Panthers are playing on Sunday against the Sea Tigers. Sea Eagles. Yeah, I reckon they'll probably put some points on at home Sunday Arvo as well. It's going to be a triathlon on Sunday, I think. So if you want to have a bet, go to westtigers.com.au. There's a QR code on the screen if you're watching on your television at the moment as well to go to ChaseBet and sign up with our friends at ChaseBet and message before you deposit, message the guys in the chat and they'll help you out. What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858. Visit gamblinghelp.org.au. Speaking of which, speaking of gambling, Jay Benz, haven't got your opinion on the show, being from Dapto, former Tiger and Seagull, Bunny, Magpie. Terry Hill passed away since we last had you on the show, and you mentioned to me that he is actually very well loved down in Dapto.
Oh, for sure. He promoted. I think he was a huge popular part of a big surge of interest in greyhound racing in the 90s. You couldn't really, not give him that, and he spent a lot of time behind the scenes. Some of my friends who are a bit older than me, who knew around a bit more than, said that, doing a lot of good things for greyhounds and stuff, racing in this state. So for me personally, I work in media for a living, and I carry on a bit on whatever, on some sort of way on camera, and we make it a bit lighthearted and funny. And he was a huge inspiration of some of that stuff, stupid stuff we do, in the way he wasn't afraid to ask people the tough questions and keep it light.
Yeah,
poor fella's lost his life, and so thoughts go out to his family.
Yeah. In a world where things are becoming very dark and
very stiff.
Yeah, someone in a gold glitter jacket at Dapto races.
You could say stiff or limp, I think.
But yeah, comedy.
Someone in a gold jacket, not giving a toss about anything, just getting out there and having a laugh with some people and not taking himself seriously, and pulling them. Not more people like Terry on TV. TV would be so much better.
Speaking of TV, as you mentioned to me off air, this is our first Channel 9 game of the season. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. So all of our games so far have been basically the Sunday, the Saturday time slots. We've had a few of each. We've also had a couple of Sunday games, but they've all been either the 2:00 or for Magic Round we had the 6:15 or 6:25 or whatever it was. And we had a Monday as well. So yeah, we've yet to have a Sunday 4:00, a Thursday 8:00, or a Friday 8:00. So this is our first one. Normally, I tended to notice we were about a 50-50 split of our games being free to air. Other games not so much. And since they redid the draw in 2020, we've had a little bit of a downturn in the games that we've had on Channel 9. I kind of expect that'll maybe change a little bit next year, with obviously the new signings coming in, like Luai, probably bring a lot more emphasis to our games. I think Channel 9 will probably look fairly heavily at our games against the Panthers next year. We'll probably want to televise those for the rivalry potential and things like that. But yeah, so it's our first one since I think it might have been 2 or 3 rounds left of last year since we last had a free-to-air game.
Not that I didn't even notice, because I put KO on, or I'm at the game anyway, so I won't lose sleep if Channel 9 don't want to show our games. But
some people watching need the Channel 9 to watch our games, because not everyone has those apps.
We're going up to the Hunter Valley this weekend, and I assume where we're staying, I'm going to have to watch it on NBN, I guess. So that's probably very lucky this week, because might not have had access to Fox Sports. So anyway, I'm tipping us. I'll change if the Origin guys come into the team, I'll probably let's be honest, I'll probably forget and not change it anyway. But I don't know. I'm backing the boys. I'm not with no confidence, but I don't know. Come on, boys. I've got a bit of money. I put a bit of money on it last week when I saw the price was pretty good. But I think we've actually pushed out since the team list were they're paying $3 on ChaseBet at the moment. I think they were at 280 or 290 something before 4 p.m.
I think the Origin boys being in the reserves probably pushed us out a little bit. Just the whole in case because having them named at least gives them the potential to play, while not having them named means they can't play at all. So, I mean, while they're there is the potential, and that's probably what that's reflecting.
As you've tipped the Dargons?
Yeah, unfortunately I have. I can't see us winning this one. I'd love to be proven wrong, but the Dragons or Dargons are coming off a really strong win against the Panthers. Yes, I wouldn't say the Panthers were a fully reserve grade team because they only had 4 or 5 Origin reps this year as opposed to the 8 or 9 of previous years. Granted, some of those players are playing for other clubs and have still been selected anyway, but there's still a really, really strong team there. So I think they're going to have a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence coming off that. They have been playing well at Wynn Stadium so far this year, and I think going with them is the safer tip this week.
What are you thinking, Jabez?
I think Dragons. Yeah, I think Dragons will win. I actually think the score will be quite big, to be honest. I think the Tigers will play good, but I think Dragons will just keep it tight. I hope the weather's meant to be good, so it gets a bit hard and slippery at Wynn when it's pissing down rain. If you want my score prediction, I actually reckon the Dragons will get it done 40-4 or something like that.
44. You've been speaking to
42-4. I think it'll be. I think I'm blinded tomorrow. And I love the Tigers, and I want to see them do well, but I just can't see them doing it tomorrow in Wynn. Off the back of that, because sometimes these teams, when Hunt's dropped out and stuff like that, a bit of a shake-up in the thing. Flanagan said this is what he was going to do weeks ago. He's got his chance through Origin, to get rid of, not saying he would dump Ben normally. No way. Ben might come back yet. But, change up some of these other bits of Lomax and stuff. And, yeah, there's apparently news I read on a Dragons Facebook today, that big announcement of Tyrell Sloan announcing he's going to be signing on for quite a lengthy contract. So that's good confidence in him. He needs that as a young fella.
Yeah, before you came on, I rate him. I reckon he's great. It reminds me a little bit of Buller. Yeah.
Yeah, he is great. I think he's just, people who are giving him credit, go give yourself an uppercut. People giving him credit, what do you call it? Giving him shit, for, a bit defensive and stuff. He's super young, man, and give yourself an uppercut, give him another couple of years, and he could earn himself a jumper in Origin, I reckon.
Oh, big call. Heard it here first.
Yeah, honestly, I think he's got it in him. He just needs that 5 more kilos and really that confidence.
At least possibly playing the centers. Obviously, we love the pick of fullback in the centers for the Blues. Possibly a center even.
I could see him in his mid to late 20s being be moving from fullback
he's a
to
big
center
boy.
Or something. Yeah.
Righto. We've also got Shane. He's the leader of the WestsLife still. He's got a 2-point lead. He got 3 out of how many games were last week? He got a
5.
3 last week. 5, yeah. He got a 3 last week, and so he's I think he's got a 2-point lead on second at the moment. He's gone Dragons as well. We've all gone Titans over South. They are playing on the Gold Coast. Any thoughts on this one, Az?
I honestly feel like the Rabbits have a better team than the Titans, but the Titans are playing with a lot more effort and intensity at the moment. So, and I feel like backing them at home might be the way to go here. So I'm going with them. I think this will be close because the Rabbits are improving. They're getting a lot of their troops back. They've obviously still got a lot of troops still to come back, but the Titans, I think, are just playing better footy at the moment.
Yeah, just looking at the team list now. Michael Cheekham starting back row. There you go. Yeah, it is a good looking side. The Rabbitohs. It's annoying because obviously I hate the Rabbitohs and I hate the Eels. I think they're both kind of gonna come back a bit as the season goes on. Any thoughts on this one, J-Benz?
I think the Titans will get it done easy. I actually reckon the Titans have been super unlucky this year. The start of the year, the first 4 or 5 rounds, they played awesome. They missed a couple of games by, 2 points and stuff like that. Like they've paddled hard really well. Des has got them firing pretty good. They're only a couple of rubs of luck away from, a few good wins. I think they'll smoke the Rabbitohs.
I feel like you can say the same thing about us in a lot of our games.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, nearly.
Nearly.
Some games, some of them, not as much as the Titans.
That's why I
I
said
think Rabbitohs just pack up, go Mad Monday. I think it's all good.
Yeah. We've all gone the Cows against the Wars in Townsville. Yeah, the Wars a bit disappointing.
Yeah,
this
they were going
year.
so well. They were going so
Yeah.
well. Early on, there was like, in the talk, this was going to be a good season for them, but it's not going good.
Yeah. Any takes on that game as at all?
Yeah, I thought early season I expected the Warriors to be pretty much as good as they were last year, but it just hasn't panned out for them. Sean Johnson's still missing. The Cowboys, they've named, like the Dragons, they've named their Origin players in the reserve, so they're all a chance to back up from the game, and they're probably a little bit more likely to, considering the game is an extra day after Origin, like it's that 3-day break, so they may play. I think they're a bit more likely to play. Yeah, I'm expecting, and obviously the Cowboys coming off a really good win against an understrength Roosters as well, so they're going to be riding high on the confidence meter as well.
We've all gone Broncos against the Sharks. This one, a lot of backer-uppers in this one, possibly. So, yeah, it'd be interesting. What have the Sharks done with their team? They haven't even named what's his name? Halfback for
Nico.
Blues?
Nico. Yeah,
Nico.
Nico's
Yeah, he's not even. They're not going to play him. They're 100% not going to play him. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got to say Broncos at home. I think you can't tip against the Broncos at home.
No.
Yeah, especially with no Nico. I think the Sharks are probably going to cop another loss.
Down Cronulla.
I'll be so sad to see him lose.
The Sharks?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a Dragons fan. Yeah, Dragons, obviously.
I got no love.
I have a feeling there's a hint of sarcasm in that one.
I got no love for the Sharks. They can eat it.
Storm. We've all gone the Storms. I think the Storms are going to run up a score on the Newcastle Knights. They're flying. Maybe Shawnee Blore can get a meat pie in this one. See how we go. But he's in the 11 jersey as well.
If Knights are at home, I reckon I'd almost tip to lean towards the Knights, but not away.
Mm.
Well, the Knights have already beat the Storm at home earlier this year. I think it was round 4 or something. It was a really early season. The Knights lifted, but they did absolutely nothing of any substance against the Dogs last week, and they've named the same halves combo. It's tough to see much changing, and yeah, the Storm coming off the bye, they're going to be well rested. I think they're a big chance of putting on a massive score as well.
I don't think Blore had debuted for them yet when they played the Knights. So
I think he debuted the week after.
Yeah, so that's
2 weeks after because they had the bye. The week after they lost to the Knights, so they had a little bit of time to stew on that one as well.
We've all gone Panthers at home over Manly. Again, Panthers. Wednesday to Sunday. You would say that's plenty of time. What have they done with their Luai's named? Liam Martin's named. So yeah, they should be sweet to back up for this. So Dylan Edwards is in the 23. Heck, there's 23 and 24 jerseys.
Yeah, so if you're so basically the rule for Teamlist Tuesday in Origin is if you've got at least 3 Origin representatives, you're allowed to name 1 extra reserve. If you've got 4 or more Origin representatives, you're allowed to name 2 extra reserves.
There you go. Dylan Edwards in the Michael Jordan 23. And no, I won't say LeBron James. He changed his number. He doesn't get to. Although Michael Jordan played in number 50 when he came back. JB?
Who's that? Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
50?
He did, when he came... No. When he came back to the Bulls, after he retired, he played 35. I'm sure I said. Well, I was thinking 50.
I think he was about 34, to be honest, because he couldn't, because he played the 3 seasons.
Yeah. Anyway, Dylan Edwards in the 23. I reckon the players should be able to pick their own jersey. Would love to see. At least put the names. I want names on the back of jerseys. What do you reckon?
Like we're going to see during Origin. This is the
Yeah,
hill you're
Origin.
going to die on, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah, I want the names on the back. I want at least keep the same number for the rest of the season, the whole season, and you can put your surname on the back. I want to see names back on the jerseys. Next game, last game. There's only 7 games this week. Eels, Doggies. Tough one. This, yeah, we've all gone the Eels. This is a Monday Arvo. It's a Queen's birthday Monday. Why we got a public holiday?
King's
Monday?
birthday, yeah. King's
Kingswell
birthday.
King, yeah.
That's why it is. That's why this has been a traditional game. It's normally between the Dragons and the Dogs, but I don't. Yeah, they've changed it up a little bit this year. They've had a few different matchups, but yeah, King's birthday Monday. There's normally an NRL and an AFL game on those days.
So the Eels get the 2 Monday public holiday games in this season.
Yep.
There you go.
I think the dogs will win that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're $2.12. They're good value. I wouldn't be surprised at all. The Dogs, again, like you guys, are better this year than they were previously. And
the Dogs got Dragons only weeks ago.
Yeah, looking at the team list here, yeah, should be a good game. I'll probably be the Eels
price like 170 something. He's off the back of Moses played awesome. Like you could almost put him in Origin now.
Yeah.
I think he played unbelievable. Yeah, but I still reckon Dogs will get it.
I hate them, but yeah,
he's determined to make something of this season. I think he still thinks the team is a chance of finals footy, and if he comes back and they win,
what are they paying?
Maybe like 8 of their remaining games, they'd probably be a shot at finals. I think they're definitely a chance of doing it too if Mitch stays in the form he's in. So I'm leaning towards them, but only just.
So they're paying $11 to make the top 8. Mathematically, how far out are they? Because it's pretty.
You get
so they're on. I'm just only 4 points out of the 4 points out of the 8. And
so you probably like last year. You needed, I think it was just over half your game wins. So if they need 13 wins, they've played 12 of their games. So if they need 13
9
wins,
and 3.
Yeah, 9 and 3.
Yeah, it's tough, but I don't know.
Maybe they could. Maybe they could do it if they go 8 and 4. But
maybe
you never know.
Yeah, I hate them. I hope they don't. I hope they come last, but I don't know. They looked good with Moses back in the team. New South Wales Cup and Flegg, they're both playing at Lidcombe Oval. So if you're not leaving Sydney like I am, if you're staying put for the weekend, Jersey Flegg and Cup are both playing at Lidcombe Oval. I think they're doing quite a bit, the Magpies, for this game in terms of game day stuff. So Flegg is on at midday and Cup at 2. So in Cup, we got Felity, Fatape. Who else is in there? Declan Casey's gone to, who obviously played first grade last game. He's played at 5'8" as well. Who else we got in there? Big Geordie Miller. He's one to watch as well. I reckon he might get an NRL debut by the end of the year. Kepa Owa in the back row. A lot of people bagging out the first grade side that Benji picked this week. If you look at our Cup side, with all respect to them, as someone who's 5'8" and is a shit footy player, bagging out professionals. But yeah, the team that Benji's put out in the park, there's not many first grade players left to pick from. So a lot of injuries, a lot of suspensions, just the worst luck. We're cursed, our club. But yes, but get out the Lidcombe, support the boys playing the Raiders. I'm not sure whether, I didn't look up the table. I'm not sure where the Raiders are in terms of the table in that one. But the Jersey Flegg boys at 12 o'clock too, obviously worth watching. They've carved up Manly last week. Big Nav Willett is back. He's a huge ex-AFL player. He looks exciting for the future as well. South MBWT put up highlights of his tries. He's a massive unit. Really keen to see him make his way up to NRL. Who else we got in there? Young Toomuth. Brendan Toomuth played first grade NRL 2 seasons ago, and he's still playing flag. That's crazy how young he still is as well. So yeah, watch these kids coming through. Some good good young talents coming through there. Righto, Patreon. I don't know if the Patreon guys have got anything for us. Patreon.com/WestsLife. Did you see did the guys leave anything for us in the Discord?
Nope, nothing in the weekly rants.
No. Everyone's just no one's talking footy the last week. They're all just talking basketball and soccer and
The effects of the bye.
yeah, it's been a bit of fun week and not talking footy. So yeah, good luck to the Dallas Mavericks on Friday. Fuck the Celtics. But yeah, anything else to say before we head off, boys? Thanks for joining us tonight, Jay Benz. Anything you want to plug? How's things looking for Summer Nats this year?
Yeah, no, things are looking good, mate. You know, cars are sold out and plenty of people, plenty of things to do. But I want to say that I was driving. I haven't been in this down Parramatta Road for ages. Right, the other day, I went into the city for dinner and I was like, "What's this Zurich Centre thing? What the hell is this massive fucking thing?" And I realised it's where Concord Oval used to be.
Yeah,
and I'm like, "Wow, that's like." I looked at it on the way into Sydney and on the way back, and it's flash, eh?
Yeah, it looks good inside.
That's our centre of excellence.
Yeah, got to do the tour start of last season. It's very impressive. So it's not working, obviously, but it looks good.
Give it time.
Yeah, give it time.
Give it time.
Of course. Only joking. Love you, West Tigers. Yeah. Anything as before we go? J Ben's actually.
I'm getting roasted here in the comments. I'm just reading if someone's having a go at the Dragons. Manually, he's having a go at the Dragons. He's a true West fan. That's the way we want to see it, right? Support your side.
Yeah, one-eyed fans. That's what this show is all about.
Come on, you had to roll your eye a little bit at least at the fuck up of the spelling of Dragons on the jerseys for the milestone games. That was fucking hilarious.
I agree. I totally agree. And the Dragons are the biggest chokers of the 21st century, but you know it's better to have choked than been close and not being close at all.
If there's one thing the West Tigers have never done is stuffed up a jersey. Can't think of anything when we've ever messed up a jersey.
Not a single time.
Yeah. Yeah. Excited for Cold Chisel as well. JB bought our tickets for.
Sounds good, mate.
Cold Chisel in October in Moore Park, which will be good. JB's have some beers and watch. Be literally the week after the footy finishes, so it'd be good to.
That'd be good.
Wind down after another torturous footy season come then. But anything before we say goodnight to Big Dog?
Not really. Just looking forward to our 2 Origin games over the next 2 nights. Obviously, we've got the men's tomorrow night. Go the Blues. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be winning.
We haven't even mentioned Origin.
Anyway. Yeah, no, we didn't mention it at all. Other than talking about the players backing up, but yeah. Then we've got the girls on Thursday night with a chance to wrap up the series. So hopefully the Blues girls in Newey can get the job done, and look forward to potential of a clean sweep in a few weeks' time for them.
I should have put added to your multi Kezi Apps scoring a try. I think I said it last game, and she didn't. But Kezi Apps, I can feel it. Newcastle crowd, packed Blues crowd. Kezi Apps getting a meat pie. She's really not paying much. She's pretty consistently good for one. So
I tell you what, Tamika Upton is a bit of a darling of Newcastle at the moment, but I'm looking forward to seeing the reception she gets from the Newcastle fans this time round. It's not going to be a positive one, that's for sure.
What happened to all the chat around? Remember, there was a bit of chat online about Rabs doing 100th game. Is that all just waffle, or that's maybe not the first? Maybe they'll hold him out to see if the last one's a decider rather than a whitewash. Maybe they'll get him for that.
Don't know. That'd be cool, though.
Yeah, there was something floating around online the other day. Yeah, that Rabs wants to do maybe his 100th.
It's the only games I watch on Channel 9. It'd be cool to just pull him out.
We're kind of forced to watch them on Channel 9. That and the grand final.
Yeah. Just pull him out for
even if he was even if he wasn't, it'd be nice if he was just like Maybe not. I was going to say like add some color commentary, during the game.
Yeah,
but
but it's not his thing. Yeah,
that's not
it's
his thing. That's a bit of an
Yeah.
insult to the king, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, it's just look. He was starting to get names wrong and that sort of thing. Towards
I
the
do
end
that
of
every
his-
day
Who
now.
cares?
I'm 40 years old. Who cares?
Well, who cares if he gets a name wrong? He get corrected eventually. We can work it out. Read the number on the. You can read the name on the back of the jersey. In
Mate, I
Origin.
follow this Twitch channel, and this dude does his live stream, and the names of the people come up flying through the chat, and he calls all the names wrong on purpose, and it's the funniest shit
Yeah.
you've ever heard in your life.
Oh, if you want mispronounced names, you'll like this show. Yeah, I can
Whenever you're
butcher.
doing them.
Yeah,
Yeah. I must say, Az is on the ball all the time. So, Josh, that's on you.
If
mate.
I'm going to the Cook Islands at the end of the year, I might have to learn how to pronounce
some lessons.
some Pacific Islander words
There you go.
by then. Right. Thank you to everyone who joined us tonight. Hundreds of people. Yeah, first time in ages we've gone live on Twitter. There's 212 people watching us on X at the moment. So if you're watching on X/Twitter at the moment, go over to YouTube, give us a subscribe, please. Don't give Elon Musk your attention. Go over to YouTube, give us a subby. Get us. We're well into the thousands now. So, but yeah, thank you for joining us. No matter if you're on the Facebook, the YouTubes, or the Twitterers, or anyone listening back on or the podcast pipes as well. Good luck to the Tigers and the Dragons. A little bit less on Friday, but good to have you on, Joe Benz, as always. Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers and the Blues.
Go Queensland. Go Dragons.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Please follow us at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and facebook.com/WestsLifePod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/WestsLife, and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the WestsLife Podcast.